People, it's OXSN. However, I hope not to be OXSN very soon, and that's kind of what I'm chatting today. I'm on Instagram Live, but it doesn't really matter if I'm on Instagram Live or not. It's just a normal video. But fuck these videos anyway, because these videos is part of the problem. Really, is I'm not who I am when I began this journey. Right, I began this journey on the internet talking like this like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Right, and I'm keeping up with something that I've kind of outgrown. Actually, it's starting to feel like. I need to leave OXSN and this whole thing away for a while. I need to look elsewhere and live more in the physical rather than the digital. And I'm not who I am when I began this whole thing. That is clear more and more through time as I naturally change. And I'm really trying to like tie the loose ends and leave everything I've done in the past. Where like, I kind of want to solidify like OXSN and everything that I am today. I want to kind of like, I've thought about this, for example. So this Instagram account, for example, oxen.silosymbiosis. I've thought if I keep uploading on this account, there's a chance that, depending on if I speak about sensitive topics or not, the more active I am on this account, there's a higher chance for it to be terminated, somewhat. And what I mean by that is, say, I had an old YouTube channel, which used to be called Scylla, and then it was called, like, not OXSN anymore, and my main one was called OXSN, but when my main OXSN channel got terminated by YouTube, I went to my old channel called Not OXSN Anymore, that used to be called Scylla. And I started to re-upload on my old channel, which I'd already had, like, over 1,000 videos on. Eventually, that channel got deleted as well, because I would speak about sensitive things like schmovid. I ended up getting that old channel terminated as well, and I ended up losing a lot of old childhood, like, because I was uploading on that channel since I was like 7 years old, and I picked it back up. But yeah, YouTube's terminated that now. I did export a few really old videos that I wouldn't have wanted to lose, but yeah, it's a shame because I literally lost this huge channel. Like, I'm on my 3rd YouTube channel now, and I lost this huge channel which has all of this like childhood uploads on there. And that's basically how I see this account now. So my main Instagram account now is like, if I keep on uploading on here, there's a chance that I may draw more attention to it and then it might get terminated. Whereas if I leave this account, set it in stone, and leave this video like somewhat near the top, see, I can leave this account and just leave it and like stagnate it so that it doesn't potentially have any vulnerable, like, if it's left alone, then it will likely stay around more compared to if I upload all this sensitive, especially the kind of the conspiracy talk. I don't want to like walk on any eggshells with this account because I'd rather solidify this account and leave it in the past. I'm trying to kind of move on from the name OXSN, or maybe I'll keep that because like that is like the name behind all the names. OXSN, I've been OXSN for the longest time. That is like, but then I'm trying to move into new names like Disassimilator or my government name, just Baron. But then I think maybe I'll always keep the hashtag OXSN or OXSN. Like, I will always be OXSN. Like, because like a few of my friends, like I met like Lyran from the Conscious Rapper community, Flowmatic's girlfriend. And when I met her, she was like, "Hi, OXSN." And it would be weird if they went, "Hi, Disassimilator." Like, most people don't even know how to spell that. I like the name OXSN. It's weird. Like, when I hang out with the Conscious Rapper community in real life, like if I'm chilling with MC Words and Michael DeSalza and Inspector Veg, they literally call me OXSN. I find it quite funny. I like the name, to be honest. I don't know why. It's a cool, like, it's an easy, snappy name. And if, by the way, what that is OXSN. That is Oxford, Swindon. I grew up and I was born in Wantage. Wantage is a town that is directly in the middle of Oxford and Swindon. All of my life, I've only ever lived with postcodes in Oxford or Swindon in England, which is OX13 or whatever for Oxford, and then like SN7 for Swindon. Or Farringdon, which is where I am now. yeah, I just glued postcodes together. But then also it makes it seem like a bit of like a, like, I had the name Oxen more when I was at the earlier stage of my journey, because Oxen, OXSN, like, before, like, I thought that, like, because I'd never ever left England, or I'd never basically left, like, those postcodes. And then, like, I went to Mr. Nature's, which was the first time I went abroad, to Spain. And, I thought that maybe, like, once I'd finally broken out of my, like, Plato's Cave, that I would change the name Oxen, because I've actually stepped out of those postcodes. It's like, I would think, because it's almost like those postcodes are Babylon and like the Western culture. When I go to the eco village, it wouldn't make sense for me to identify with OXSN, because those are the postcodes of Babylon that I was prescribed by the government, basically. But yeah, what I was trying to say is like if I can, like, a new name, for example, Disassimilator. I haven't really done much on that name at all. That's pretty new. If I oversaturate it and upload loads of videos and keep putting Disassimilator in the title loads and loads and loads, eventually I'll oversaturate it like I did with Oxen. Because there's so much stuff under, like, hashtag Oxen, and it's so, like, diluted and overflowing, whether that's on Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anything, Google Podcast, whatever the fuck. I've done a lot of stuff on purpose. I've done a lot of stuff on purpose, because when I had the initial psychedelic awakening breakthrough, I basically just thought that I had became a fucking, what they call it? A prophet. Like, I got these, like, insane enlightenment downloads from the mushrooms, and then I just, like, thought I was a prophet, which I was to an extent. And that's why I would speak so much like this, because I would, like, never want to forget about my awakening, you see? Like, that's what a lot of this is. It's like, I'd, like, realise crazy shit, and I'd, like, talk about it to, like, bring it back to myself. I don't know. But then a lot of that is kind of in the past a bit, because, like, I haven't done nearly as many shrooms as I used to do because of my financial situation and my personal life. And that's the thing as well. Like, I'm actually been struggling with my survival for months. And when I've been doing this stuff on YouTube, like, it's easy, like, with me like this, yeah, but it's like, in the background, I've actually been basically pretty fucking down bad nearly the whole time. I have, like, peaks and ebbs and flows in, like, some bipolar fucking ebb and flow shit, but, like, sometimes I don't think it's going to creep back up on me, where, like, I get up and I think I'm good, and I don't realise that I'm about to have another wave of, like, darkness, depression come suck me under. But yeah, I've been struggling, and that's why I need to take a break, because, like, I can talk all this lingo, but again, all of this is just lingo. It's just castles in the sky, like Terence McKenna talking. It's still valid. I can still have genuine insights. People can still learn from me and potentially, like, heal some of the Babylon trauma through some of the insights that I fucking channel, sure. But yeah, it's just like all of this lingo, and all of this just talking on the internet. It's like, I've been very abstract for a long time, where, like, I'd be, like, hyper philosophical and, like, abstract. I think a lot of my inspiration came from Leo Gura, and Terence McKenna. And if you understand them, then you can understand me more, of, like, in terms of this, like, just one-on-one kind of, like, guided contemplation, speaking to the camera type thing. I think that's where a lot of where I get it from. But also, it's like, I realise there's a severe, I think, when it comes to things like psychosis and schizophrenia, I think basically it's, to an extent, there's a ungroundedness that comes with it, where basically it's in terms of the abstractness, it's like basically like you're building castles in the sky. You're doing an awful lot of cognitive symbolizing and like contemplation, and like you're literally thinking. And like I've been like trapped in my mind and in my thoughts for so long I didn't really realize. But it's like I'd be always trying to think about reality and trying to figure it out with my mind alone. As if my mind and my physiology aren't like completely connected. As if I didn't know that already based on the shroom trips, which, you know, I did basically. But it's like, yeah, they're connected, you know, like, I would live like so much just solely in the cognitive realm. And I think doing all the shrooms and listening to the philosophical podcasts all the time, and like being isolated in the New World Order, yeah, I would just think. And I'd have these major breakthroughs like in my mind on the psychedelics, and like, yeah, the kingdom of heaven is within. And like, I think that's what's made me be like this. And like when I realized that the kingdom of heaven is within, I'm like kind of stuck in this like infinite chamber of reflection where it's like everything's like an infinite paradox. When I was at the peak of my like psychedelic breakthrough shit, I would say stuck between nothing's real and realistic, where like I realized that like it's like, yeah, you can seek fulfillment via actually going through and fulfilling your life and fulfilling the desires and like building up, but you can also seek fulfillment by like unwiring the desire from the root type thing. And I'd get stuck between them. And then the demiurge's prison thing is also quite relevant, where it's like you're kind of trapped anyway, and it's like, it's a funny analogy. I was just speaking to my dad about this. It's like, you're in the prison realm, but it's like you can either have a shitty prison cell or a nice prison cell. It's like, if you're in prison, do you want to spend your time in a nice prison cell or a horrible prison cell? That's a funny analogy. Like, in terms of the existential soul trap, it's like, yeah, you know, your body is a prison. In the demiurge's prison, sure, maybe. But it's like, yeah, do you want a prison full of weeds and thorns, or do you want a luxurious prison? That you can. It's like Quintessence was saying she likes the prison. It's funny. It's like, yeah, if you can learn to like the prison, then that's different. I think a lot of it for me, and again, I seem to, my mind is always radically transforming. The way that I think, the structure of my thoughts, or my coherentness, even to be able to think on like in a straight line. I remember like 4 months ago, I was speaking about how I noticed that I was basically, yeah, I kind of forgot about this. It's weird. It's like I noticed a radical shift in the way that my mind was thinking. And I feel it even now a bit more in a different way, a different direction. It is kind of unhinged, but it's cool because I'm just blurring out information. I don't really care. I'm not really concerned. This is all demo shit anyway. I'm just speaking for the sake of it because I felt like I had nothing to lose and I might as well whip on the camera and speak at Sting. But that was years ago, and now I'm kind of outrunning that. Yes, me free. What the fuck was I even on about? There was a few things I was going to say. I can't remember now. I don't know. One thing, so I don't just leave it in the dust, is I was saying about how, yeah, it's like I was like overly abstract and like intellectual and building castles in the sky, where like me sitting here, yo man, I hope you're good, man. I hope everyone's good. Basically, as I realize a lot of my problem is actually me like sitting here speaking and doing stuff like this, in terms of like I'm so like intellectual that I'm like trapped in my fucking mind, and I didn't really realize that this was my problem. Where it's like to be like so abstract and to be always thinking in like all these language symbols, contemplating and like to be like so like abstract, like castles in the sky. There's like a disconnect from like the actual groundedness of reality, and I think that's a lot of what can be kind of deemed as like psychosis or schizophrenia in a way. It's like you're kind of like trapped in your mind a bit. Where like because your thoughts about reality are not reality. And the psychedelics would do this to me as well. Like the psychedelics give me like insights where like, and Traumatic obviously would speak a lot about this, and loads of people do, like you can get insights from taking magic mushrooms or something. But also it's like all of that, again, all of the insights, they're all just cognitive stuff. And like, I think that's what I did to myself is I done loads of psychedelic mushrooms in isolation. I listened to loads of podcasts about philosophy, personal development, loads of this intellectual shit all the time. I was isolated in the New World Order fucking open prison shit. And it's like that combination of psychedelic abuse, podcast abuse, lecture abuse, and isolation. I just become like so cognitive where it's like I weren't actually like, it's not like I'm out here stacking up the peas and getting a car and like really building my physical empire and like I think stepping into the masculinity. I think masculinity is very relevant to being grounded in the actual physical fucking like, it's weird. It seems like some people are less embodied than others. Some people live a lot more physically and some people live a lot more like cognitively, I think. And my logo as well, by the way, if you don't know what that logo is of the eye, so there's an eyeball in a triangle and in the center of the eyeball there's an I, as in the letter, like information. What that means is this is like something that I identify with. This is a deep concept, and this is what my whole social media is. If I'm going to leave it in the dust for a while because I need to take a break, but anyone who doesn't know, this is kind of important. This is one of my coolest. It's not really my concept, but it is. I picked it up, I refined it. It's a cool concept. It's basically, what that means is cognito hazard or info hazard. And it's basically information that you can encounter or like thoughts or like just cognitive stuff that once like clocked or heard about or realized, it can radically change your life. It can be dangerous information that can also save your life potentially. So cognito hazard or information hazard is information that can kind of like fuck with your mind a bit, but also enlighten you. For example, if I say there's fluoride in the tap water, something like that, to someone who doesn't know that, that is quite, like, that information is life-changing. And my life is somewhat defined by life-changing information. For example, we've got Mufree in the chat now, and he's a conscious rapper, and he'll dig up research and information about, like, corrupt corporations, for example. And, like, just learning about that information can actually recontextualize, like, the whole of, like, society that you're inside of. And it's, like, information that can kind of fuck with your head, but also change the name of the game. 2 secs. I've got to go. I'll see you later. Bless. Sorry, man. I'll talk again in a minute. Bless.